Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yasharahla, it's your brother Nechemia from Nations and Kings and Priests, NoKaP Cali section. All right, and first off, I want to give all honor and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahwahshi. All right. And I want to send a mighty shalom to all the Akim out there on the highways and byways, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. All right, magnifying the name of the Most High to the best of their ability, edifying the lost sheep of the nation of Yasharahla to bring them back and bid them back to this marriage by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. All right, and woe man. All right, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13. Shalom, shalom, Akim. I also want to send a mighty shalom to all the Akwathim on the high Salakia, reverencing their husbands, being submissive to their husbands, all right, being keepers at home, being teachers of good things to the children, all right, shalom, 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 and also reading and being sincere and being diligent into walking in the paths of our righteous foremothers, all right? Striving to be that Proverbs 31 woman, striving to be that 1 Peter chapter 3 woman, striving to be that Ephesians chapter 5 woman, all right? And actually being sincere and being diligent and taking heed unto yourself and examining yourselves to walk in the paths of our righteous foremothers. All right, shalom, shalom, Akwathim. All right, I also want to send a mighty shalom to all the elders of the Marshara Yasharhala and all the elders who have been putting in the work for decades and decades, 10, 20, 30 years and going on, enduring in this truth. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, now with that, let's get into this class. The topic of this class, right, is going to be called How to Have a Conversation. All right. How to have a conversation. You know, the scripts let us know how to have a godly conversation, how to have a godly dialogue between two men of wisdom, all right, two men of meekness, all right. The scriptures let us know how to have a conversation. This is going to be a real quick class, all right, a real quick class. This is a class that is also needed, all right. This is also the milk as well, because in order for you to have a godly discourse, a godly dialogue, a godly conversation, you know, you have to have some level of wisdom. You have to have some level of keeping your mouth shut when wise words are being brought out. Learning how to not cut people off while they're speaking. All right, letting the Ak or Akwath finish their point. All right, and so on and so on. All right, so the topic of this class is how to have a conversation. All right, and through thy precepts we get understanding. All right, now let's go through the precepts. All right, first precept is, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse 15. Let thy talk be with the wise, and all thy communication in the law of the Most High. So first and foremost, every conversation you have should be of the Most High. Should be of the Most High, or always including the Most High. You can talk about something, you know, that's outside the Bible, but the Bible should end up being the Bible should end up being brought up in that conversation. Everything that you talk about should have a connection with the scriptures, with the Most High. Everything you talk about, you should be able to relate it to the Bible. All right, let's read that again. Let thy talk be with the wise. So you want to talk to wise men, wise women. All right. You don't want to talk to fools. You learn nothing, you waste your time, and you get frustrated and irritated. Then you want to fight. Some people, not for all. You know, so let thy talk be with the wise. All right. Let thy talk be with godly men. Those are wise men. All right. And all thy communication. You hear that? And all thy communication in the law. All right. Operate in the milk. In the law of the Most High. All right. So your conversation, your communication, your discourse, your dialogue should always be with wise men or wise women, and all thy communication should be operating and within the law of the Most High. All right, this is the basic understanding of how you should have a conversation. And this is a conversation you should always want to have. Anything that is relatable to the scriptures, because that's a form of studying as well. All right. Now with that, let's go to the book of let's go to the book let's go to Sirach, chapter 11. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 11, verses 7 through 8. I already got it highlighted too. All praise to the Most High. All right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 11, and verses 7 through 8. All right. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. All right, so when you're having a conversation, you could be talking about it can be a conversation with somebody talking about, oh well, for example, let's say you found out something. You know, Akwath is telling you something, and you know they already jumping to conclusions on the matter. All right, you don't want to be that person that are jumping into conclusions without knowing the whole matter first. All right, this is the reason why it says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Okay, so when you're having a conversation and that type of thing comes up, you don't want to be jumping to conclusions until you examine the full truth, until you have the full truth and the full understanding of it first. Then you can start rebuking and reproving. All right, let's read that again. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. That's wise, because you don't want to look like a fool over here jumping to conclusions, and then you get rebuked and be like, that's not even how it went. Then you look stupid. Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first and then rebuke. Once you have the whole truth of the matter, once you know both sides, once you know the root of the situation, then you can start rebuking. Then you can start correcting and reproving. If it is needed. All right. Verse 8. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. All right. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. Don't say anything until you heard it. All right. Don't say anything until you have heard the matter. Keep your mouth closed until you have heard the matter, because you don't know what's going on yet. All right. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause. Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. When somebody is speaking, you could be speaking to somebody, hey, yeah, this. Well, I wasn't done, brother or sister. Don't interrupt men or women in the midst of their talk. Let them get their point out. Let them bring out what they are saying. Let them finish. Because when you're constantly cutting somebody off, you're constantly trying to put your 2 cents in, or you're constantly trying to say something, you know, before the brother or sister finish their point. That when you keep cutting people off, and you're making it hard for that person to want to have a conversation with you, and then they start to forget the point that they're trying to bring out because you keep cutting them off. That's not wise. That's not a discourse. That's not a dialogue. And it's definitely not godly when you keep cutting people off, not finishing their point. You're so ready to talk instead of hear. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should be listening double as much than you should be speaking. Because the Ak or Akwath could be bringing something out that you need to hear or that you can learn from. And you missed it because you wanted to cut them off. Because you just had the urge to just say this so much before they got to finish their point. Neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Don't do that. It's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And it's not godly. And it's not wise. Let them speak Let them finish. All right? Let them speak and let them finish. All right? Now let's go to the book of... No, we in Sirach. We're just going to go to the 27th chapter. All right? And we're going to go to verse 11. All right? And it reads, "The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon." All right? So a discourse is a conversation. A discourse is a conversation. It's plain. It's a godly dialogue between a man and a woman, between a man and a man, or a sister and a sister. All right? The discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom. You always want to have a conversation of wisdom. A godly man is always having a discourse with wisdom, Salakia. That's what you should be seeking every time you have a conversation. Anything outside of that is vain, and it offers no benefit to you, spiritually or physically. So you always want to have conversations that are of wisdom, that have value. All right? And it has to be with godly men or godly women. Akim or Akwathium, striving in this same walk. All right? Following the law, statutes, and commandments. Now, that's not to say that if you're at the plantation or something, and then, you got to speak to coworkers because you're there, and, you want to, they conversating with you. Okay, yeah, those are all vain conversations. Or unless you're waking up a Ak or Akwath, you know what I'm saying? So it always depends on your situation, But if you're at work, obviously, you can't get around that vain conversation, Obviously, you got to do things while you're at the plantation, all right? But this is according to outside of that, all right? You always want to have a discourse with a godly man, and it should always be with wisdom, all right? Because if it's not, a fool changes as the moon. The conversation is constantly going to change. You're never going to be able to finish the points that were brought out. All right? Let's get this last precept. We're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18 and verse 13. All right? And it reads, "He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him." All right? "He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him." So, for example, right? So if I'm on the highways and byways and I'm teaching, all right, and I call a brother up, to try to let him know what his nationality is, let him know what his true nationality is, and we got a gift. Let's just say if we got a gift from him. He could be a man that actually needs this gift. Let's just use the example of money. All right, let's just use money. We got $15,000. Obviously, this won't be on the Sabbath day or anything like that. But this is for an example. We talking to a brother, or I'm talking to a brother, and I'm like, "Hey, brother, come here. Let me talk to you real quick, man." And eventually I say, "Man, I got something for you, man. You believe in the Bible?" No, man. Well, I got something for you also, man. If you just sit here and chop it up with me about these scriptures real quick. Nah, man. I don't want to. I'm good. I got something to do. I got 15,000 for him if he just sit and talk to me about the scripts. This is just an example. I'm not saying, so don't take this example and try to stretch it out. This is just an example. All right. I got 15,000 and the brother, they're like, "Oh, no, I'm good." And he totally disregard the conversation and keep walking. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, he's already answering like, "No, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to go over these scriptures." Before he even heareth it, is folly and shame unto him. That brother just passed up on that gift, and he just passed up on the words of life. He answered the matter before he even got to hear what I was trying to say to him. Don't be that person. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. All right? It is folly and shame unto him. Unwise. Sit and listen first. Don't just automatically cut off. I'm not trying to hear what you got to say. It's not important. It could be important. So you never want to answer a matter before you hear it. That's very, very unwise. You never want to do that. All right? And we're going to keep it simple, man. This is how to have a conversation. All right? 4 precepts, quick, simple class. Sit, meditate on these scriptures. Remember when you're having a conversation to remember these precepts. All right? And actually do them. All right? Be wise and actually take heed to these scriptures and actually put them into play. Sometimes you might slip, so you might have to catch yourself. All right? But make sure that you're actually applying these precepts. All right? Now with that, I want to say shalom.